Well, hello again, guys. So some of you may recall, I would say about a year ago, this last fall-ish. I really don't remember what month it was. It may have been going on into the winter. We put in a small concrete pad and moved a small well house, pump house shed onto it. Gave it a firm foundation once again using my work truck with the crane. We just swung the old shed around and put it on the new slab. Well, the past year and more, I have hemmed and hawed and procrastinated and basically have been disgusted this whole time looking at that shed and the fact that no more progress has been made on it. And in fact, my bracing on it, the memory of the wood has slowly taken it back crooked to where it was before. It's like the stoop of an old man's back. It just wants to be there. So I got to try to stand up straight now. The next phase of that project needs to be the lean-to greenhouse frame on the south side of it. And that was always part of the plan, and that was why we made the cement slab almost twice as big as it needed to be. So, let's take a look at what I got. Now, during the past year, as I was considering what to do, I'd thought of cedar lumber, which would be ideal if you're doing it out of lumber. But have you seen the price of cedar lumber? I mean, they grow like weeds. Every pasture and hilltop has cedar on it, but they charge a premium for it. I've read that fir, like your standard stud 2x4s, fir is a little bit rot resistant, could be an option, but I just don't trust that the longevity of it in kind of a inside moist environment, and you got a lot of sunlight coming through a greenhouse, obviously. Then, of course, your formaldehyde dipped treated lumber, your typical stuff. These are all things that are readily available here in Kansas. Those are kind of your options without having to special order anything. But that stuff, that treated lumber, cracks and splits and warps so easy. The whole time knowing that my ideal material would be steel tubing. So I finally just bit the bullet. We get a steel order in here at work once every week. So I asked my father-in-law to order me this and wrote a check for it. 1.5-inch square tubing. These are probably 24, 25 foot long each. Bundle of 10. I think I ordered 11 gauge. It looks quite thick on the end here, but probably from the sawing. I don't know. That looks thicker than 11 gauge. Anyway, so let's make a greenhouse out of it. I drew my plans up real quick, and I kind of decided I would need roughly 240 feet, hence the 10 sticks of this. I may need just a little bit more. I don't know. We'll find out. Here we go. Okay, I have most of my repetitive cutting done. These, of course, are going to be our uprights and rafters on the south side. That'll be 2 uprights on the north side up against the little garden shed. And I only need them on the outside corners. That's why there's 2 of them. This is the long sill plate and top plate. And then got a set of 2 here. That would be the shorter top piece. That's the longer bottom pieces. And I'm not really giving you specific dimensions because my situation is probably different from anyone else's. The portion of the cement pad I'm going on is roughly 8 foot by 14 foot, but that's not exact. And then here, this portion is going to go up against a wall on that little shed that is 89 inches tall, the side wall of the shed. It's unlikely most people would have that same exact situation. This south end wall or side wall is going to be 6 foot tall, and that's just a generic number that I wanted. I wanted personally to be able to stand up. It does not look like 6 feet. Does it to you? Probably on camera you probably can't tell, but to me, I should be like twice that tall. Should I test it? It's funny how when things are laying down, they just don't look long enough, right? But there my head's against the ceiling. Are my feet at the end? This is 3 inches shorter than 6 foot right now. So, yeah. I guess I'll fit. Actually, there's going to be, I imagine planter boxes up against this wall. So you'll only be able to stand here. And then, of course, I got another, half a foot headroom. So we're good to go. Alright, my 4 corner uprights are in place, and I'm going to try it the first time by myself to get this upper perimeter put up there. I'm not James Dean, but I am the one that taught him everything he knew, right? So, if I can't get it, I'll grab somebody else, but let me show you what I got. Now my corners, I've just tack welded in a couple spots. You know, I was using the welding jig table angles there to get them square, so I could only get access to two sides of it anyway. But that'll keep it kind of loose. Well, not loose, but you know what I mean. It doesn't make it permanent. So anyway, here this upper plate is basically going to be horizontal going to the top of that piece, and then we'll add our angled roof rafters later. Just kind of make a truss out of it piece by piece, I guess. So I got kind of stops here so it doesn't slide off that way, and then our horizontal stops so it gets level. So let's try this out. Now this piece here is going to span across the top, and it's going to serve a twofold purpose. It's going to give me the connection point for my roof rafters. And then I'll also have tabs welded across, and that'll match the height of the existing top plate on the wooden walls of the little shed. And so I'll be able to do a good solid connection all the way across of my roof to meet the shed. All right, I'm getting close to what I call the bird cage getting done here. You can see I've come in and I've put a purlin halfway up just to give something to screw panels to, top, bottom, and center. I've got 12 pieces cut out to do the same thing along the roof. Of course, we're going to have one strip in the center from this upright going straight across to the other. And then all the others are going to be, it will be a nailer, something to screw panels to, and it'll also form blocking here, bird blocking, whatever, keep bugs, birds, and small Sasquatches out. And we'll do the same up on the top. And I've also come in and I have welded tabs, 4 tabs across the top, and that will hopefully overlap the top plate on the existing shed, and that'll give me something to lag or just plain bolt this bird cage to the existing shed, the top of the wall. So I'm going to do all of this, and then I've got 2 more elements that I want to weld, and then the welding should be done on the old canary cage. And I'll show you this, so you remember the bundle of 24, 25 foot sticks. I had 10 of them on the floor. This is my scrap pile, literally. I had one piece, a little under 40 inches. I had to go into the fabrication shop here and cut a piece on the bandsaw. That is the one and only piece that I did not have enough for. So, pretty good guesstimating. I knew I'd be a little short, and I'm actually quite surprised that that is all the extra I had to go find. Anyway, I'm going to get these up. I'm going to throw a level across my rafters there. You see I've got a floor jack and a wall stud. I want to make sure that that end is nice and straight before I weld, so that if I don't, it does sag. And if I were to be welding all these in with that sagging, I would just lock the sag right into the roof, you know. So I'm going to throw a level up there, make sure that's nice and straight, and we'll get to welding. Now I am going to weld caps on the ends of my rafters, and I'm going to leave a little gap on the bottom so that we can have drainage and it can dry out. It has ventilation inside that tube just in case a roof panel screw decides to leak down into the tube or whatever. And in fact, I have not welded any joint completely solid all the way around. There is a hole or a gap somewhere on every single connection so that this thing can breathe. I'm just trying to do everything I can to help the longevity. And in fact, on the center beam here, I only spot welded the very bottom, so we got nice gaps there. You know, we got an inch long weld on it, the other 3 surfaces. So nothing's, the integrity's there, and the breathability's there. So here's what that turned out looking like. Got a nice little drain vent slot under the bottom. Got one on all 5 rafters. So now we're going to go inside and do our last structural element piece. Our last piece, as the guys that I hang around with would call it. I had these cut out, 3 of them on the water jet that I drew up, and I just wanted a little bit of extra bracing on these 3 center rafters. I don't anticipate big problems. I mean, I'm over 200 pounds and I can hang by that center just fine. But I wanted to add a little bit more strength to help combat that, you know. So I've got it all marked out where I want the welds to be, kind of make it look a little better. And I've got center lines marked, and hopefully I can remember. I put a hole on that top leg there. You know, if a gal wants to hang a hanging flower basket or whatever, sprinkler hose, I don't know what goes on inside of one of these sheds, you know, but I just thought I'd put a nice big hole there so it can be used if needed. So I'm going to get these on. Okay, well that is pretty much it for the welding. Well, that is it, in fact. I think next I'm going to get a magnetic drill and drill all the holes for the anchor bolts along the bottom. And then it's going to be time to clean it up, prime it, and paint it. Now the last holes I'm putting in here are horizontal holes through these uprights so that I can put lag bolts into the corner studs of the drill, and that's where these magnetic drills really shine. Kind of a bit of a dance to get them lined up when you're doing this on a vertical surface. Looks good. And you combine it with these annular cutters, these bits, kind of like a glorified hole saw, but way better. Man, it's really nice. And it certainly comes with a price tag. This is why I don't own one. This is the one I carry around on my service truck for work. So I've got some paint stuff laying around, so I might as well use it. I put epoxy primer on the bare metal that I just did there, and then I've got this single stage pure white here. Man, this stuff has got to be, I don't know, 5 years old, maybe more. So hopefully it's usable. Oh yeah, I've got my pressure turned way down. So I'm going to mix that up. If I wasn't using stuff I already had, probably go just get a can of Rust-Oleum enamel in the can and mix it with acetone and spray it. Did that on my kid's big swing set frame probably 10 years ago, and it's still got it. So really good stuff, but no need to buy anything when I've got it. So I'm gonna go turn up the air so this does a little better job, and then try to get this painted. I want to leave it outside, and we got rain coming the next couple days, so try to get some paint on it while I can. I am truly amazed. There is no sludge on the bottom. It's thoroughly mixed, and man, it looks good. That's gotta be from 2018, 2019. I restored or kind of rebuilt, repainted a service body for a service truck, and it was from the 80s, the service bed. Anyway, cool. Well guys, now it is 2 months into the future, approximately, and I gotta tell you, this new world is a strange and wonderful place. I don't know. Anyway, between car projects and the spring weather here in Kansas, just every Saturday I had available, just wind, wind, wind from the south, which is that way. This wouldn't have worked with a camera, you know. But it rained last night, our first substantial moisture since, I believe, January when we had a good snow. So we were in desperate need of it. Wind is out of the north. Maybe it'll flare up again like a bad rash and just come at us again. That's a disturbing image. But yeah, we got to try to get this frame onto this concrete so we can use it to support the building. And I need to clean this cement pad off. So what a guy is going to have to do, you remember this needs to be flush up against the wall so I can overhang with my bolts there, which needs to be way up in here. So I'm going to have to come in, I'm going to start pulling all the screws and nails and baling wire and anything else holding that tin on. And I'm going to go get maybe some long 2x4s if I have any, and try to shove them between the shake shingles and the tin and lift that tin up, because like I say, you know, sometimes it does rain here in Kansas, but only sometimes. And then everything from the eaves on the end walls needs to be removed. So we'll do some Sawzall action there. But I got to start by climbing up here and defying death and get going. I have one of those nails. You know the ones. The heads just want to fold and break, and then you got nothing to grab. Ooh. Well, those of you who've been around the block with me a time or two will recall that we had some rot going on in here from the chimney area. You know, it was just leaking on the top plate. So I've come in and I've scabbed in a new old piece of wood and, you know, give the greenhouse frame something to bite into. So I think I am ready to move it. Well, I must say, it fits really nice on the concrete. I had a bit of a struggle getting the tin to go over the top up there, because until we get, you know, sides and a roof on this, I can't re-roof that, because that's got to overlap the roof on this. And then the whole thing has moved so much, the little shed again, that I had to get a ratchet strap from down here to up there, bring it straight before I could get it lined up. And then she went right in. I'll come around to the side here. You can see how much lean this thing's got. So we're up against down there. and we got about 4 inches at the top. So that's my main motivation in getting this frame up, for starters, is reinforce the shed. It's probably a bad case scenario here where your lean-to is actually holding your main building up, but that's what's going on for now until we get some reinforcement and some sheeting on the inside walls there. It's gonna have to do it. Now I know my tin is looking a little wonky, and just stick with me, bear with me now. We want to be saving on this. A guy likes to use that stuff when he's got it, and I have a home for this when it's done here. So we don't want to be cutting a foot off of each and every piece here if we don't have to. Now I'd be very prudent, I suppose, if I took some wire and tied it there and wrapped it clear around to the other end, because guaranteed, you know, sooner or later that stuff's going to start flopping in the prairie breeze here. So no, that is not an air freshener. I've got 6-inch lag bolts in my corners going into the corner studs there, front and back, good to go. And I've got my 4 bolts across the top through the top sill plate. Everything's good to go. Everything's nice and flush. Everything is straight with the center of gravity, side to side, front to back. So that brought my door back into alignment. I reinforced the hinge screws there with much longer wood screws. So that closes once again. I lost electricity in this thing. I just noticed that this morning as I was trying to use that hammer drill, so I got to figure that out yet. You know, we thought that rhubarb might be done for, but I think she's coming out of it. Huh. Well guys, there you go. That's how far I wanted to get in this one. Just get the thing built, get it attached, and square the old well house up again. So hopefully this thing is a good enough brace to hold this thing up for a while anyway. Now we got to do this in stages, you know. I can't just be going spending thousands of dollars all in one chunk. And certainly, you know, interest rates these days, I'm not taking a loan out for a greenhouse, although it may be one of your better purchases. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see, you know, as we go through the summer into fall. Maybe by then we can save a few pennies and nickels and dimes and get some walls and ceiling sheets, and then we'll start on that. And then I have tin that'll match the house for the roof. And I actually know a guy I would really like to be able to afford getting a mason out here. I know a retired guy that does that kind of work, and I've got a mountain of bricks that match the house bricks. So it'd be kind of neat to make a little miniature look-alike garden shed looking like the actual house. So we'll see. We also have French doors to go in here, and then you got your entry into the greenhouse. So, you know, be checking that out. For those of you that are just checking this out for the first time, I will put a thumbnail at the very end of this video. You can see us when we put this concrete pad in, and then I use my truck crane to move this shed onto it. You can check that out. Other than that, you could also try subscribing. Man, it's hot in here with the sun. And try subscribing, and you will keep up on the progress. So, I think my glasses are fogging up. Anyway, guys, for those of you who want to become members, you will get extra video content as quick as I can get it out. Sometimes it's a little difficult. I hope you understand that. But you can go to my channel. Underneath the banner, you can click join and get more videos that way. Other than that, I got nothing else to say, so God bless you. Thank you for coming around, spending this time with me. I'll be seeing you around the loafing jug. Bye-bye.